Hello guys, it's John. So we're doing another Beyblade ranking video, this time ranking every single Wyvern. Wyvern is one of these smaller lines that I'm ranking individually, only 4 bays, and it's also just a weird line in general, because I feel like it's been kind of inconsistent in some ways. Well, mainly just one, but we'll talk about that one in a moment here. So yeah, the Wyvern line, something I've kind of been wanting to talk about for a little while now, we're finally at it, so... Anyways, coming in at number 4, my least favorite Wyvern, also the one that I was kind of referring to a moment ago. That is, of course, Jet Wyvern. I do not like Jet Wyvern that much. It's kind of cool. Like, just looking at it, it doesn't look that bad. Although, I don't like how they did the purple here. I think that underneath, like, the translucent plastic should have not been purple. I think that should have been clear. And I also don't like how they did entirely just purple on the outside here for both the plastic and the rubber. I feel like it could have benefited from another color, looking at something like Tornado Wyvern, which has kind of a magenta color on the outside. Something like that would have worked very well here. Instead of just pretty much having purple and some gold with the God chip, or not God chip, the sparking core, the chip core, there we go, I couldn't think of the word, but the chip core. Instead of that being like just kind of its own color, you could have maybe done some other stuff again, like magenta. I just don't think they did a very good job on the color scheme here. The layer itself is okay. This whole gimmick I don't really care for. The whole ratchet thing has the rubber as well, which is okay, but like... And it locks, kind of. I mean, I guess it's like going downward it locks, but the whole idea is that against lefts it is using the rubber to absorb hits, but against rights it spins with like kind of the ratchet-like gimmick. That idea is not inherently bad, but let's be honest. I think it would have just been better if they just let it free spin entirely. That's just me. Maybe you had the rubber still, I guess, but like you don't have to. I just think free spin would have been a way better gimmick than what they did here. But yeah, so the layer isn't bad. They also gave it 1 defense, which is pretty basic, but like it's sort of underwhelming in my opinion. The parts as well, around just, I'm actually okay with around. Like it's fine. The color looks good, at least. It's not purple, so it's not too much purple, but still, I wish they would have done something else for, you know, the rubber or something, but, yeah, round, perfectly fine. Also, they painted the disc itself purple as well, so it's pretty interesting, that they decided to just randomly do that, but I guess it's kind of cool, and since it's not as visible, I don't mind that, but, the Just driver. Color is fine, but, this driver is genuinely terrible and made no sense for a Wyvern. Before this, Wyvern kind of had a ball theme to it. Massive was kind of a, you know, ball driver. Orbit was now a free spinning ball. And then Atomic was a larger free spinning ball with a free spinning ridge. What is this? I genuinely would have rather had them just repeat Atomic. Just regular Atomic, not even Atomic Dash or Atomic Metal or something. It would have been a much better Wyvern, and I might have considered putting it at like 3rd, honestly. Even if it was just the same exact Atomic from Tornado Wyvern. But as it is, I just don't think this Wyvern was really all that well made. Like, they didn't really put effort into anything outside of like the ring here, and even that I have some problems with, but like the chip was pretty basic. The chassis was just kind of thrown on. The disc is like okay, I guess, and then like the driver's just terrible, so not the best Wyvern. I don't care for it too much. Number 3, Wild Wyvern. I like Wild Wyvern. It's a nice bay, but it's not my favorite Wyvern either. The layer design, I don't know what it is, but I don't really like sort of this two-sided nature here. Like, I know it's not really just like 2 contact points, like you have all these other parts here, but still, like, something about it just feels off-putting to me, and I don't know why. Outside of that, though, it's fine. Vertical as a disc is also fine, I don't mind it, and I really like Orbit a lot, like, it's a really nice driver, so... To me, this definitely is above Jet Wyvern, but it's pretty close to number 2, honestly. It just feels like a nice bay, but like I have a couple things that I just don't like as much about it, but it's not that big of a deal or anything. But yeah, I still like the bay a lot. Number 2, Wyvern. This is, like, very competitive. I don't know. Like, it's very hard to choose Wyvern or Wild Wyvern, honestly, but I just like the layer design a lot more on Wyvern here. I just think it looks a lot, I guess, a lot more sleek. It just looks way cooler. I just like how it's kind of very round. You don't really have any specific contact points on here or anything that are, like, exemplified, which is nice. I also prefer armed to vertical. Just something about this kind of disc feels like, I guess, a more chunky bay, which just kind of looks cool, I think. It's just a little bit more interesting to me. Massive, same color as Orbit, but, yeah, it's not as good as Orbit, so that's kind of where the problem comes in. I do like Wyvern more than Wild Wyvern, but, I mean, I like vertical better, I mean, I like armed better than vertical, but only, like, slightly, and then I definitely like Orbit better than Massive, so it's pretty close, but overall, I do just prefer Wyvern a little bit more than Wild Wyvern. Number 1, this is probably the most free number 1 of any ranking video I've done, and that is Tornado Wyvern. This is just the best Wyvern. Even Jet Wyvern, like, even though it was released, like, almost 4 years later, I feel like a lot of people will still like Tornado better. And Tornado can honestly beat Jet Wyvern pretty easily in a battle, which is wild, because you don't see God Bays beating Sparking Bays very often. Tornado Wyvern's lair just looks great. It's very round. You have this outer part that does fully free spin. It's just kind of the underneath ridge, but still, it would have been nice to see a fully realized version of this with Jet Wyvern, but they didn't do it. And it's magenta as well, which makes the color scheme look better. Plus you have a different color for the God Ship, so there's 3 colors on the layer. It looks very cool like that. For Glaive, not the best choice ever. Like, I do kind of like the idea of armed and vertical more. But you know what, it's still fine enough. And the color here matches with the God Ship, which is very cool. And then we have Atomic. They opted for a lime green, which I actually think works pretty well here. And I like the purple ridge as well. Atomic was a phenomenal driver for its time, and this is where Atomic originates from. You know, it's a very large free spinning ball with a free spinning ridge as well. This driver was very popular for its time, and again, Tornado Wyvern introduced it, and it helped to kind of build upon the ball driver idea that Wyvern kind of had built up with Massive and Orbit, now really coming to a head with Atomic. This Wyvern, in my opinion, is just easily the best. Like, it's not even a contest. It's so far above the others. Like, this Wyvern is what they should have kind of kept for Wyvern. I think, well, I wish they'd made, like, a Chosets Wyvern, but, you know, when they finally came back with Wyvern in Sparking, Jet Wyvern should have taken notes from this thing, and it just didn't for whatever reason. I don't know why, but, they could have referenced their old material here, because it was just such a better Wyvern, in my opinion. And I wish we got a DB Wyvern, because maybe they could have kind of redeemed themselves with a brand new Wyvern that heavily took from Tornado Wyvern. Because again, I find it hard to argue that this isn't the best Wyvern. And of course, everyone has their own views. If you like Jet Wyvern the most, or Wyvern or Wild Wyvern, whatever, that's completely fine. It's just that I do think Tornado Wyvern is, like, the best. I don't want to say objectively, but I do feel like it kind of worked with Wyvern's overall theme the best, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, Tornado Wyvern, it does kind of sweep in my opinion. So, yeah, in my opinion so far, this is the freest number 1 spot for any line. But yeah, it's real to say, not that long of a video, honestly, but just a fun one to talk about some Wyverns. So, yeah, anyways, that's all for this video. So, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.